This time round I'm going to speak English. One thing that I found ludicrous is considering what is good for you, good for everybody. I use this ukulele is good, therefore everybody should use this ukulele. I use these strings, they are good for me, so they are good for everybody. No, in reality it doesn't work like this. Like people with medicine, I use this medicine, it worked for me, it will work for you. No, because that's a different person, there are commonalities, but that's why there are doctors, and even doctors, after a while, they check the effect of some drugs on people, because nothing is so deterministic. Obviously, there are reasons why this medicine doesn't work, but we don't know all the criteria, all the factors. So, some people have different organism in a way, not completely, but different. So what works for me doesn't necessarily work for the other person. This doesn't mean that we don't have some criteria for deciding, but they're not that deterministic. There's always a percentage of what is the right word? Unexpected. I don't know. I cannot find the right appropriate word. Anyway, that works. That goes also for ukulele strings. Considering that some ukuleles, same scale, have a bigger body. I have my 10 inches body on my Duke 10, and I think that this kind of ukuleles need some heavier strings because they have to make vibrate a larger surface. Second thing, the feel. It's not basic thing, but you know, some glossy strings maybe don't work for some other people. Some other people want some was not so smooth surface, some a different feel. Some people like that sound, other people like another sound. That's very difficult to foresee. For example, I like the mellow sound of nylon rather than the snappy sound of Nile gut, but in a way I like also red strings, but red strings in the past they broke easily. Other things, convenience. Some strings I use the same string from a set to string up two ukuleles, two concert ukuleles. That's a good side, a good thing to take into account. So I would say that the big mistake people make is recommending some strings based on the fact that they like them. I always say I don't like Aquila, and I think that many people who buy Aquila are, everybody says they are good strings, so they buy them. So there's not a really empirical reason why. If everybody likes them, they must be good. Well, that really doesn't work like this. There's a lot of marketing, there's a lot of fade. So I'd say not everything that shines is gold. Surely Aquila strings have a strong sound, and if you prefer a snappy, strong sound, buy Aquila. But you don't go for strong sound, you're looking for a mellow sound. There are other options. So I'd say, like with reeds, I used to play a saxophone. Some strings may sound good on some instruments and not so good on other instruments, because every instrument has their own personality, their own reaction. Some tops need heavy gauge strings because they are quite thick. Other very thin tops need thin strings because they don't need a lot of force to make them vibrate. Obviously, in this society, people think in a way that a lot of Facebook, a lot of internet with thumbs up, thumbs down, this is good, this is bad, but in reality there are a lot of gray areas, there are a lot of personal choices. Otherwise, I'll give an example. Every time I hear a saxophone player, a clarinet player, classical jazz players, I can tell this is Johnny Dodds, this is Pee Wee Russell, this is Benny Goodman, this is Artie Shaw. Why? Because everybody uses a different mouthpiece, a different reeds, different instrument, and played in a different way. Nowadays, people who don't play classical music behave like they're playing classical music. In classical music, everything is more standardized. They use the same kind of, for example, clarinet, very low opening mouthpiece with thick strings. But if I go for jazz sound like Sidney Bechet, I need a very open mouthpiece and thin reeds that are the equivalent of strings. You know why other people don't think like me? Because they have been playing only one instrument in that kind of close-minded circles where they need to be told what is right, what is wrong. Unless they're very cheap strings, there's no right or wrong per se. Everything is according to your tastes, what you're doing, and what your instrument you are playing. So reality is not black or white. I think that common sense, but it works. That's why I always experiment with new strings. I bought nylon strings, black nylon strings by the Daria Hawaiian, and I already played but some years ago, and then I say not very forceful, not very bright sound, but it's written in the packaging. But I like them. I strung up two ukuleles very long, but in the future I will try again titanium or red strings that I never use on a red series by Aquila. I never use on a concert ukulele. But the idea of somebody can tell you this is right for you, that doesn't work like this. I never tell everybody just because I don't like night guts, don't buy night guts. No, you can buy, but you can buy not because everybody says it's good, but because you're convinced through repeated listening and comparison with other strings on other instruments that is the kind of sound that you like. I think very few people use Aquila because they're really convinced they are good, because they like them and they don't like other strings. Other fact is sometimes you start with these strings, you get it, they grew on you, and you're convinced that you like them because they are good for you. No, you like them because you have always been listening to these strings, and you have an acquired taste. If for some magical miracle everybody started to use nylon strings by Pro Arte, by Daddario, and you started on this and everybody says around you these are good strings, you will play those strings rather than Aquila, being Aquila the exact same strings and Daddario the same strings that people don't go for now because of Aquila leading role in the ukulele strings. I think that what I said makes perfect sense. I think the ukulele player should know better than buying just one kind of strings, because I've been told to. I don't say everybody does that, I say that a lot of people do that. Okay? And I live in Italy, and Aquila is Italian, but it's not just because it's Italian. I have to support from a chauvinist point of view. I think that even Daddario, the origin of the Daddario family, is from Italy, though it's not Italian anymore. But my point is, ask people what kind of strings, what is the nature of these strings, and then ask yourself, what is the sound I want to have? Do I want to have modern sound? Do I want to have a bright sound? Do I want a mellow sound? Do I want something in the middle? Once you know that, it's easier. But to know this, you have to know the difference between these kind of sounds, not because you hear warm and for some reason you like summer, or you like red color, pink color, and you think, oh, I like everything that is warm. No, you need to be exposed. Now with YouTube you can see a lot of people playing those strings, and you can watch a lot of videos with black nylon, not so much, but there are, not so many, but there are. Pro Arte, titanium, and you can watch Aquila and Red series, and they came up with other kind of strings that I don't think they're very successful, because I don't hear a lot of videos about Guerrero collaboration with Aquila or other things that can be very interesting to me, because I don't have anything against Aquila, I just don't like night guts. the problem with ukulele, they're overpriced, and they destroyed in Italy the market. They won hands down, and that's not good for me, because many times I can find they don't carry other kinds of strings other than aquila nalgas, and that's bad. Goodbye.